Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I have to be honest, when I first heard about energy healing way back in the day, like anybody, I was skeptical. I was like, really? How can somebody change your energy and have a favorable outcome? But then I realized, okay, this stuff is legit and does make a difference. Then you fast forward to some other modalities like emotion code, and I'm skeptical like anybody else. How can somebody else tap into your energy and make those changes and essentially tap into your subconscious from a distance? Yes, I was skeptical until I worked with her. And then I realized, oh, this stuff is real. She is, with my permission, connected to me. And we're going to talk about what the emotion code can do for you, can do for your business, your life, everything. And really get a little bit deeper into that. Who it helps. Mila Velazquez joins us on the program. She's a physical therapist, emotion code practitioner, intuitive energy healer, life coach, and so much more. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Steve.
I am skeptical like anybody else. When I first saw you do your thing, we did a couple of sessions. I was like, what is she doing? As she's like, in her mind doing column A, column B, actually connecting with my subconscious. And how do I know that she really did? And how do I know that she made a difference? Because of the things that she told me, almost like a psychic medium. You were able to identify certain things. There's nobody that would know that unless you were maybe a friend, but we didn't connect that way unless you were doing something. And do I have that right? Like you with the emotion code really tap into somebody's subconscious?
I do. Everything is energy. So with your permission, I am able to tap into your subconscious and ask certain questions, manual muscle test my nervous system for your nervous system to get the answers. And so when I ask the questions, the subconscious does not lie. So it seems like it's a medium or a psychic, but really it's physics is what it is. And if I can get to the root cause of the problem and release some of the issues that you're having, we can change the energy and get to what we need to get to, manipulate the energy in our favor.
It's almost as if you're tuning a radio dial.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly what we're doing.
You've tuned into my station. It's kind of like what it feels like.
That's exactly what I do. Yes, that's exactly what it is. I tune into your station. I tune into your energy. And then I ask, what's the underlying issues? What do we need to clear to release that energy that's causing blockages in your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's productivity, whether it's work, pain or mental stress, emotional stress. Once we release those blockages and let the energy flow, things happen. We attract the people that we need in our lives. We are happier. The pain goes away. It's truly incredible. You just have to keep an open mind. I always tell everybody, try once and keep an open mind. And when they finish with me, they say, wow, Mila, that's strange, which always excites me because I see the difference in them right away. They feel very mellowed out. And that just tells me I've calmed their nervous system down.
For sure.
And they're able to look at things a little bit differently. Yeah.
One thing you said really from our first conversation before we even did a session, right from the beginning, you said to me that people who are a little bit older have more to clear out because, it's a cliche, but we got more baggage. We've been through more. And it's kind of rhetorical, but at the same time, when it comes to energy healing, which I've done before we met, I never put that together. That in my thinking was, well, you're going to be an energy healer and you'll just clear that stuff out and we're good. But no, there's a lot more to clear out when you're older, and invariably you're going to have more junk in the trunk, if you will. There's more stuff going on that needs to be cleared out. So maybe it'll take a little bit longer. But what I find fascinating is it's almost like you're a CSI detective. You you start, you ask the questions of somebody's subconscious, and then it's like process of elimination. Well, no, it's that, not that, or well, could be that. Oh, yes, it is that. And I'm being very broad in terms of how you do what you do, but that's kind of what it looks like.
That's exactly what it is. It's me being a detective. It's me using my skills of anatomy, neurology, physiology. I do have a master's degree in science, and so I know the body very well, and I kind of dig around. So when someone comes to me, let's say with a back pain, I ask, well, where is this? What's the underlying cause? Is it the muscles? Is it the joint? Is it the fascia? Is it the nerve? And the subconscious knows where it is, and it's process of elimination until I hit upon something. And once I hit upon something, then I ask the body, okay, so the issue is in the fascia. Okay, what is it? It's a memory. Okay, what's the memory? And then I keep going and I get to the emotion. And as soon as I clear that emotion, a person will sit there and have a physiological effect. They'll get dizzy, or they'll say to me, oh my God, I haven't thought about that in years. Or they just start to cry to release it all. It doesn't matter how you release, as long as you release it. But as long as your subconscious realizes where this is coming from and releases the energy, it allows the body to self-heal itself. And our bodies know how to self-heal when you give it the right environment.
Yep. Firm believer of that. Firm believer of that. If your body has everything in balance, and there's a lot going on there, the obvious things: sleep, nutrition, exercise, minimizing stress, right relationships, on and on. If you get to the point where everything is really in the sweet spot, all of those things, you're golden. You're not going to have any issues. Everything's going to work itself out in terms of, let's say you have some things that you need to heal from. I will tell you this, after our session, I was like a day or two later, I did feel tired. Like, I don't know, I'm just kind of dragging, but that's normal for some, right?
Right. That is normal, because when energy starts to leave, you will feel, when everything kind of calms down, that you're tired. And that's your body really processing everything. It's telling you that it just needs a little bit of a rest, little self-care, self-love, let the energy leave, let the body heal. Most of us, we're on the go. We're a society of on the go. We got this to do, we got that to do. Nobody really stops and says, I got to take care of me for a minute. How am I doing? Let me check in. How am I feeling today? And most people, they get a headache, or they get a low back pain or a neck pain, and they say, oh, here it is again. Let me pop some medication and keep moving, right? But that's just a patch, because if you don't pay attention to your body, it will give you another sign. I always give this example as the universe will always come and give you a situation in your life. And so at first it comes and it scratches on that door to get you to pay attention to a situation. And when you don't listen to it, it will come again, and it will knock a little bit gently on the door to make you pay attention. And you still don't pay attention to it. And then it comes and it starts to pound on that door to pay attention. And if you pay attention, great. If not, what happens? The whole damn house blows up. Why? To get you to pay attention that you have a situation on your hands that you need to take care of. So,
and you might not realize what the situation is, in that it may be some stuff, energy that you didn't clear out from the past, that is, you're having challenges with. It could be simply, and you don't even know what it is.
Right. You don't know. But everything comes to you as a sign, and it comes as a sign into your body. And nobody pays attention to it. People think that having a headache is a normal thing. I got news for you. If you're having a headache, that's not a normal thing. We're not supposed to have a headache.
True.
Period.
I never even thought of that. I really never did. And
Right.
you're a physical therapist, so you've studied pretty deeply in terms of what we're talking about in that.
Yeah, right. A headache can be different things. It could be structural, it could be toxicity, it could be whatever. But that's just our body saying something is wrong. Pain is not a natural thing for us to have. And most people put it to the side. Oh, whatever, I'm too busy for it now. Until the pain hits to be like a 8 to a 9 out of 10, that's when they say, hold on, I can't live like this. I got to get to the doctor, or I need to go to the physical therapist or try something else. But most people live with like a, mild pain, 5, 4, chronic pain all
Wow.
every day. That's not normal
Wow.
in any way, shape, or form. Right.
But we're so used to dealing with it. That's the thing. Like if you've had a few headaches, maybe migraines, and then maybe a physiological reason for it, but it should work its way out if your
Yes.
body's in perfect balance.
Right. Or if you pay attention to the fact that the other day I woke up with a headache and I said to myself, what's happening? And what did I do? I spoke to my subconscious and I said, what's the underlying reason? Why did you wake up with a headache? And I hit upon, you're stressing. Why are you stressing? You got some bad news from someone that you love very much, some terrible news, and it affected you. And you just need to release some of that pain that you're feeling over this news, because it's literally sitting in your head. And I woke up with it. And once I released it, the pain started to subside and went away. But I paid attention to that pain. I realized that something is up, because it's not normal for me to wake up in the morning to have a headache. And
Yeah.
if I wake up with a headache, hold on, stop everything, something is wrong. Most people, again, will run to get an Advil or a Tylenol for it. It's kind of patch it, but the problem doesn't go away, because you know what? That headache will then lead to your neck being in pain. Next day you'll wake up not only with a headache, but a neck pain, or you feel tension in that neck, or people go like this, they're in pain. They just can't take it. And they'll say, oh, now I'm suffering even more. But they don't really look to see what is the underlying cause of this. What's causing this pain? And I think that's where people should pay attention to themselves. Stop what you're doing. It's not about money. It's not about this. It's not about that. It's about you. Love yourself enough to take care of yourself. Because if you don't, the issue will not go away. It'll just get bigger, bigger, bigger until eventually it will blow up.
And you'll be in the hospital or worse.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I a couple of weeks ago, I woke up and my heart was palpitating and I was just like, I can't sleep. Something's up. And for a moment, I'm like, what's going on here? This is not normal. And of course, for a moment, I'm like, something really serious. It turned out to be hydration. I wasn't properly hydrated. So I got up.
Dehydrated.
Yes. So I drank something. Don't like to do that because you want to sleep and not have to go to the bathroom at some point at night. But I drank something and I slept fine past that. So there was a reason for that. And there can be a reason for a headache or whatever it might be. How often is what we deal with an energy related challenge? Like you said before, you got some bad news. There's energy. My example here was the hydration. All right, drink something, sleep better, don't have the, crazy palpitations and all that, anxious. That's different. But in terms of energy challenges, stuck energy, bad energy, all of that, what percentage?
Energy.
What
it's all 100% energy.
Well, the hydration thing in my mind isn't. Right? So there's a reason. Me being
why? Well, yeah, you weren't drinking enough. Why weren't you drinking enough that day? What prevented you from drinking enough water? You were busy doing something else. Your mind was somewhere else. Your energy went to somewhere else. It didn't go to you to say, hold on a minute, I got to take 5 minutes of a break or 5 minutes of a recess to drink a little bit of water because I'm too busy doing something else. Your energy was somewhere else. And where it happened? It came to you when your body told you hello, and you listened to it. You used your intuition to listen to it to see that you were dehydrated. But it all starts with energy. See, we are energetic beings, and it all starts with the energy before it physically comes into our bodies. And this is where modern medicine is missing it, in my opinion. Again, my personal opinion. Nobody looks at your energetic system. And before it comes into our physical bodies, it has to go through all of our energy systems. So if something is not flowing, it will have an effect somewhere else, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically on our bodies. And that's where I start. I start where is the blockage of energy in our bodies? And a lot of different healing modalities, tuning forks, healing modality, Reiki, everything that has to do with energy starts from the energetic system, not from the physical system. So as a physical therapist, I am working now on the physical, system. So someone already had a knee replacement because their joint was deteriorated. But nobody looks at, well, why did this joint deteriorate at such a young age? A woman comes in 50 years old with a knee replacement, and I say to her, how did this happen? Were you on steroids all your life? And she said, oh, no, I never had asthma. I wasn't on steroids. And I said, then you must have been bending to someone's authority all your life. And it's your left knee, you were bending to a woman. And she looks at me and she says, of course, it's my mother. Because the energy came in and it got stuck in the joint, which deteriorated her joint. And here's the key, ready? Even after she had the knee replacement, we now were struggling with getting that range of motion. Why? Because the energy was still there. And I looked at her and I said, look, unless we release the energy, we're going to suffer with this knee, and this knee is not going to get the range of motion that it needs. And at first she said, what are you, nuts? And I said, a little bit, but what you got to lose? And you know what? After 6 weeks, when I couldn't get her knee to go, we went into my room. I released the energy. She looked at me and said, wow, Mila, look at the emotions that came out because of my mother. And then she got up and said, and you know what? My knee feels 100% better. And since that day, we stopped doing the range of motion like crazy. Why? Because she got her range of motion back. Because the problem was an energetic problem to begin with. And so when you get to the root cause of an issue, and you release it, your body has an innate way of healing itself. And you can call it hocus pocus, but it works.
I can't deny any of this. I can't deny any of this. And even back to the hydration thing, you're right. There's a reason. I don't remember because that was, a week or so ago, but there had to be a reason. I must have had a crazy day. What causes a crazy day? Energy.
Yeah, the energy's off. You walk in, you work into work, and all of a sudden, nothing is the way it does. Nothing is flowing. Your computer doesn't work. Your phone system is off. The patient that's supposed to, or, the client that's supposed to be on the show with you in the morning, for some reason doesn't show up. You order lunch, it doesn't come
whatever.
in. The energy is wrong, right?
Right. And it could be even, things happen, ran into traffic and things like that. But ultimately, and now I'm seeing it through you, it comes down to energy. What causes everything that happens during our day? It's energy. I had a situation recently with somebody I've known 20 something years. It's a colleague of sorts. And, we've worked together on some projects, and she sent me an email recently and just like terminated our relationship. And I said, all the things that you're addressing here, if you just communicated, we would have fixed that one. That's an easy fix. We'll take care of that. That, no problem. I didn't realize that was a challenge for you. I can take care of it. It'll all work out fine. No problem. And she kept going on and on in her email of all this negativity. I'm like, who is this person? I've actually supported them through the years, gave them jobs. And now I'm reading this and I'm just thinking, you must have stuff going on. And I tried to make it work. And I have to tell you, I'm grateful that it's done. It was never an issue, but I'm grateful that it's done because I'm feeling like the energy. And I even got up at like 4 o'clock in the morning one day thinking about it. Like, I don't want to end that relationship. It's a business relationship, but we're friends back in the day. I'm happy because I don't want her negative energy. And man, it was all out of nowhere. Bad. Go, be free, enjoy. I'll find solutions, don't need to work with you anymore. But I can
Right.
feel what you're saying, just the release of just, make that go away. It just even trying to make it work, I felt in my gut, like it doesn't feel right, but it kind of feels bad that we're not going to work together. Just no, let it go. But it's all energy. That's what I'm getting down to. It's all
It's
energy.
all energy. And you see, you said you were grateful for the relationship while you had it, and you sent her on her way with love and happiness, with gratitude, not with up yours, keep walking, right? With all that hate. And sometimes you have to cut relationships, when you
Sure.
see a relationship is toxic and it's not going anywhere and she's having an issue, the relationship has come to an end, and that's okay. Why? Because it's energy. Why? Because it's in the stars, because this is how it's happening. And the time came where you parted your ways. And what you did was you wished her well with gratitude and said, thank you. It was an honor to work with you, to meet, to have known you. I wish you luck
Yeah. That's it.
walking.
That basically that's it. And I said, I appreciate all your insight. I really do. I learned a lot. And I did, being honest, I learned a
Right.
lot. And I'm grateful for the time that we were connected. And be well, enjoy your weekend. And that was it. Bye-bye.
Right. And this is going to be a lesson for her. The lesson is going to be for her now. What did she do, or what did she do wrong? Whether she learns it or not,
Right.
And another
Exactly.
situation, another energy will come around, another situation will come around similar to try to teach her the same thing.
Right.
Is she going to learn?
And the lesson is communication. In her, that's what she needs to learn: communication. Instead of just pointing fingers, you talk about it and you find solutions. And what I offered was extremely reasonable to make everything work. But I
But she's
tried.
reactive, and the reason why she's reactive is because she's defensive. Why? Because she has a heart wall, and what you're saying, the energy is just not, you're giving it, but it's not, she's not receiving it. Why? Because there's a blockage. She feels defensive, and she's not hearing what you have to say. It doesn't matter what words you use. The energy is blocked. See, now, if we would release her energy
Mhm.
and open up that,
Yep.
she would receive it. And instead of being reactive, she would be proactive.
Yep.
And that's where you would go into a different direction. This is great for people who have businesses. If you have a corporation with a business, to release some of the junk from your employees so they can have great communication,
Sure.
so that they're able to, be more productive. Yeah,
Y-
for
y- You know,
employers.
absolutely. Especially, let's say you're a manager, owner of a business. You have maybe a
Mm-hmm.
sales team. If they were armed with this stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and maybe some
Powerful.
some aren't producing that well because they have a block about abundance, making money. Many
Right.
different reasons. You got
Mm-hmm.
to get rid of the block.
Right. And what happens when you're an employer and you hire the wrong employees because you're not seeing what's happening, and you're not sensing it. And then after the fact, you realize, oh, this is not the team player that I need for me, for my business. Because
Yeah,
the ones that get the team players, they become successful businesses. They become successful, owners.
exactly. Yeah, this is, I never even thought of it in that aspect, how it can arm you with what you need to succeed.
Of
Because
course.
the number one thing, as I understand it, is we believe that we're not good enough, and
Oh,
probably
yeah.
came from our childhood. It's in our subconscious. So even when you have the opportunity for abundance, maybe to make a lot of money, we subconsciously derail ourselves from doing that because we don't feel that we deserve it.
You're good enough. Right.
Yeah.
Sabotage energy, you
Yes.
know? False negative core belief the false negative core beliefs come from your childhood. Negative beliefs, despair anchors, or a negative broadcast message, You're broadcasting out there that I'm not deserving of this. I'm living in lack. I don't, people that are always complaining that they're living in lack. And then they want to know why money never comes to them. Well, release the emotional baggage of why you feel that you're always in lack, and you will have the abundance, instead of saying, money flows easily and I am abundant, people say, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. It's never enough. And if you can change that and release why you're thinking that and change the perspective and give yourself a different belief, core belief, then your life will change.
Sure. Why are some people very successful and not? And when I say successful, that, that's a relative term, but even if we talk about in terms of prosperity, it's like, I don't know what happens. He just keeps getting the deal and the money just keeps coming in because he's attracting it, or she, because they've lowered the wall of whatever was blocking them from it. Same thing we talked about energy before. Yeah.
Right. It's energy. It goes back to the energy.
Back to
what you put out is what you put in. And I think that's where people just, they don't know the generations that are like, in their 70s, their 60s, their 50s, their 40s, who does understand that are the kids, the 20s, the 30s, are understanding this more and more.
Yeah.
The 50s, even some of my friends, they look at me and they think to myself, they think to themselves, is she nuts? What is she talking about? What's energy? I had one girl say to me, there's no energy. And I said to her, what do you mean there's no energy? I said, what does that mean? She says, well, there's no energy going through our hearts. And I said, no. So how come when your heart stops, they paddle you,
with energy,
and they try to get to an energy to get you going? So I'm going to myself, what was her schooling? What did she learn? And
wow.
This is the girl. I call her a girl who has a degree in nutrition. She's an educated woman and she doesn't believe in energy. She has a dietetics degree and yet doesn't believe in energy.
Even at the surface level, like the example you gave in the heart, when somebody has a pacemaker, what's that doing? It's got a battery
energy,
and it's sending a type of energy. When we talk about other types of the energy that, we're speaking of here with heart walls and such, it's a different type of energy, but it's still energy. Wow.
Everything is energy. We're all energy. You're energy. I'm energy. The table's energy. Your microphone is energy. My plant is energy. Everything is energy.
Sound is energy. When we talk, it's creating a vibration, which is energy in the air. It's a different type of energy, of course. And then our ears are able to
frequency. Right.
Wow. We're out of time. We can just keep going. But great examples. And you really do make us think. If anybody's skeptical, at the very least, Mila, you make us think and question, which is what we need to do. And that's where you learn. How do we find you? If somebody wants to start the question, if they're feeling the energy and even maybe a little bit, you've got tons, but if they're picking up on it, how do we find you?
So my website is iwhealing.com or innerwisdomenergy@gmail.com. And you can call me at 732-515-3393.
3 words. Love your energy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love yours too.
And it's amazing how you make everything clear. And yes, we're all skeptics. I was too before I met you. And even when I did meet you and you were doing your thing, when we first talked, I didn't question anything you said. When I watched you do the emotion code as we in a session, I was like, what is she doing there? And then when you pulled those certain things out and I felt better, that was okay. Right. Yeah. All right. I got it. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here and look forward next time we talk.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mila.
Thank you so much for having me. Take care.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.